Now, while we're waiting for that, Mr. Shardt, do you recall him asking you a lot of questions about writing reports in this case?
I do.
Over the course of these 2 years, have you ever had opportunity to meet with Mr. Shardt?
I have not.
Have you been available to meet with Mr. Shardt if he had any questions about any information contained in the warrant or March 22 folders or anything that you may have done in relation to this case?
Absolutely, I have been.
Now, are you able to see and read the paragraph before before the screen grab?
Yes.
Can you please read it?
In a conversation thread from February 4th, 2021 to February 7th, 2021, Jeffrey Williams brags that YSL rules the world and has $24 million. Jeffrey Williams then tells YSL members to pay him directly, and he pays for everything already for the members. This shows Williams' leadership role within the enterprise, directing the actions of YSL members and obtaining the profits from the enterprise.
At any point in there, did you say that he was given $24 million to try to kill Lucci?
I did not.
Did you infer that in anything that you wrote right there?
I did not.
And is that what you presented to the judge in addition to all the other pages of that affidavit?
It is.
And how many pages is that affidavit?
Several. They're not numbered, so it's multiple.
Now, do you remember? You can take that down. Thank you. Do you remember there being a line of questioning regarding Mr. Stillwell's song "Slap Talk" and the verse, "Was it I just beat a murder rat, pay my lawyer 30 for that"?
Correct.
And are you aware of when Mr. Stillwell was initially arrested on murder warrants regarding Donovan Thomas Jr.? Are you aware of when Mr. Stillwell was initially arrested on murder? To your knowledge, did he ever receive a bond on that original murder? Are you aware of when Mr. Stillwell was initially arrested on murder? To your knowledge, did he ever receive a bond on that original? Are you aware of when Mr. Stillwell was initially arrested on murder? To your knowledge, did he receive a bond on that original? Are you aware of when Mr. Stillwell was there any indictment for murder? Knowledge, did he receive a bond on that original? Are you aware of when Mr. Stillwell was initially arrested? Was there an indictment for Donovan Thomas? On that original? Are you aware of when this indictment for the Donovan Thomas murder?
May 9th, 2022.
On that original? Are you aware? And when did the Donovan Thomas murder occur?
I believe January 10th of 2015.
So if my math serves me correctly, it took about 7 years for there to be an indictment in Donovan Thomas murder.
Correct.
I'm going to now publish the video that Mr. Shardt talked about on Direct, which is the full video of the screen grab regarding Quamavious Nichols. Do you know what we're referring to?
I do.
All right. And this is going to be for the record, Your Honor, and we're going to we're going to ask to admit 471 VVA into evidence, Your Honor.
All right, that's admitted.
No objection.
And permission to publish.
You may. fault, I've been here through it all. Come on, I won't fuck with you often. Baby, I ain't got no reason. I think I need to stay down. I done came back from the dance, wipe off the leaves. I don't want any of these sluts from off the street. I fucked her the first night and then I never called again. Next time them shout to see me, I was riding with a friend. I was gonna have my pay private, but you know what? Man, I don't give a fuck. Bitch, I'll pussy. Don't even come from no fake pay. Come from your real pay. I don't get no fuck, man. Come on, man. It ain't private. It ain't private. I'm a bloody man, I don't feel shame for all them niggas dying. Holding on to my name when they claiming. Through the night I'm crying. These bitches lying, let's face the fact. Them bullets flying, let's talk about that. Couldn't grab my strap, bye-bye shot back. I feel the pain of the end. When I did my time, I ain't feeling nothing, it was fun. And this is what they want me to do on Steady Heights. I might die. Never get on another fucking roller coaster day in my life. Oh, you talking about? I don't want to talk. Won't speak on that, I'm too official. I heard your niggas let them choppers off. Strictly about beef. I go to war with any nigga. I heard them say that they won't smoke with us. Ain't got no better nigga, ain't gon' fuck with us. So what you saying is up. I step on any nigga. Name a block ain't hit, name a hoe ain't hit. Name a nigga don't try this shit to survive this shit. Every nigga don't try this shit, don't die this shit. On my mama ain't lying for shit. Hold up, shit, bro, you shit. Fuck, I look.
And is that the video that you screen grabbed in addition to the two pictures that we published earlier?
It is.
All right. And do you recall when you pulled and screen grabbed that video?
Probably a day or two after the homicide of Mr. Drinks.
And on here where it says 18 hours, would this video have been posted this particular video been posted 18 hours before you screen grabbed it?
Correct. Whatever day, I'm not sure the day of the actual capture, but it would have been 18 hours before that.
And if it said 1 hour, would that video been posted 1 hour before the capture?
Correct.
Now, there was a line of questioning regarding Shell Kell and the 2 shells on his face. Do you remember that?
Correct.
The Christian McMillan and Darius Ford case, is that still an open and pending investigation?
It is.
Are you the lead detective?
I am not.
Have you done additional investigation on that case?
I've assisted on that investigation.
And have you turned that information over to the lead detective?
I have.
And is it up to the lead detective to take out warrants or do whatever next steps in the investigation?
It is.
DeMarco Boyer, when did you confirm that Boyer, let me strike that. How did you confirm that Boyer was at the gas station? How were you able to confirm that information?
There was a call that precedes the call at 9:59 that let me know that they were at the gas station.
And did you ever get phone records to confirm whether or not there was accuracy regarding that call?
I don't believe I obtained them, but I did see them and the results of them.
And to your knowledge, do you know when those phone records were obtained?
It would be a couple months after the indictment, I think. I didn't obtain them, so I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Let me ask you, do you know if it was before or after the indictment?
After.
Mr. Shardt asked you some questions about tinted windows. Do you remember that?
Correct.
Right. Have you ever had any cars tinted, windows tinted?
I have.
And have you ever received instructions after the car has been tinted on what you should do about winding up and winding down the windows?
I have.
Have you always listened to that instruction?
I tried to, yes.
Has there been a time when, and let me ask you, what is the instruction generally?
Don't roll your windows down for 3 to 5 days.
You said you tried to. Have there been times where you have rolled it down before the 3 or 5 day period?
The next morning, getting out of my parking deck, I accidentally rolled down my window.
In your experience, did anything happen to the tent?
It did not.
So I want to go to State's Exhibit 437 VV and the call that's on March 15th, 2022 at about 2 o'clock a.m.
Yo. All right, man. There's all kinds of shit going on. I just jump in the other car, bro. Y'all niggas don't be getting dropped off and they ain't got no motherfucking ride to go back home to. That don't make sense. Yeah, yeah. The fuck you getting dropped off for a nigga ride with the nigga who brought you? Yeah. That's stupid as fuck. So any of you niggas be on the dumb ass out. What the hell? What's wrong with we right here. We right here down here. Yeah, what? Ride past around the sea. I'm finna meet up with y'all. I'm finna go get a fill up. Gotta get a fill up for Mike, right? Yeah. Alright, I'm listening. Huh? I said, alright, I'm finna listen up. What's going on? I just, I'm pulling out now. You back, son. You say, I was gonna jump in with y'all. Alright. That's what I'm saying. Cause when you doing? Alright, I'm gonna get the fill up now. Alright.
Now I want to pull, are you familiar with the vault page of the actual wiretap information that you receive when you get the wiretap?
Yes, a typical, oh,
Sorry, the PDF pages.
yes.
And earlier, did we talk about yesterday that sometimes within the wiretap, there was mapping information?
If it's available, the wiretap will display a map of where the device is at that time.
And is this what the PDF page looks like when you get the wiretap information?
So when you export the wiretap data, this is the PDF form, how it's going to print out and be exported.
And does it have a link for the audio and a link for the map?
Correct.
And is the audio link, would that link us back to the audio that we just heard?
It will allow you to play the call associated with this record.
And then what does the map link do?
It will show you, if it's available, the map of where the device is located at the time of the call.
Okay. You click on the map. And if you can use the pointer. Looking at the map, are you able to see the area or the neighborhood that it appears that the phone is in?
Yes,
Okay. What neighborhood is that?
Mechanicsville. I'll be all right here.
And where it has the pin drop, is that where the phone is supposed to be located on the map?
It should be within that radius. So it'll give you a radius and say within this many meters, and that judges how big the circle is going to be.
And on the radius, do you see Fulton Street Southwest?
I do.
And do you also see McDaniel Street?
I do.
Is the is I-Windsor and I-20 in this general vicinity of this area?
No, it will be right here.
I'm going to object to a general vicinity.
Sustained. Within the map, are you able to see where the I-20 Windsor area is?
Right here.
Are you able to see, court's indulgence for a moment? Thank you. Now, do you recall Mr. Shardt asking you about whether or not the phone call that was at 9:59, where the call says get on FaceTime, whether that was, where did you get that time information from?
Yes.
And where was it that you received that time from?
The wiretap itself.
I'm going to publish for you what's already been admitted as 397 VVD, which is the ankle monitor location information. Looking at 397 VVD, do you see a time for 9:59 p.m.?
I do.
And do you see a location for 9:59 p.m.?
464 Windsor.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as 397 VVC. Do you see that same address located on 397 VVC?
I do.
Okay. And is that the is that the BP gas station?
It is.
And is that the BP gas station located at Windsor and Fulton Street?
It is.
Is that the same BP gas station that you saw in surveillance video?
It is.
Is that the same BP gas station where the car that was rented by Shannon Stillwell and Demikion Garlington is inside of is at that gas station?
It is.
Is that the same gas station where the white Ford Fusion is in, that DeMarco Boyer is in, at that same gas station?
It is.
And is it at 9:59 that that call comes in that for them to get on FaceTime?
It is.
And in looking at the surveillance video, is that moments before or after the red car in which Mr. Drinks was in is pulling off from that gas station?
I'm going to object to possible speculation. I
Have,
don't know how the video cameras link up.
I think that's an argument.
Do you want to rephrase the question?
Sure. On the surveillance video, do you see at approximately 9:59 from the BP surveillance video, that car, Mr. Drink's car leaving the gas station?
I believe Mr. Drink's car leaves the gas station, and the other cars shortly thereafter follow.
And then do they then go to, those cars go to the light that's on the FedEx surveillance video?
Yes, they stop at the light.
Now let's go to the FedEx surveillance video.
Sure.
Right? Now, what time is on the surveillance video on the bottom? How much into the video are we at?
1 hour, 1 minute, and 32 seconds.
All right. Mr. Bott, if you can press play, please. Is that the red car approaching the light?
It is.
Right. Is that now the first white car, which is the white Audi now approaching next to Mr. Drinks?
It is.
And is that the white Ford Fusion then approaching next to the white Audi?
It is.
Okay. And are those cars just all at the light currently?
Yes.
And do we now see cars moving in the opposite direction?
Yes, oncoming traffic is starting to move.
And actually, Mr. Abadi, can we go back to when the cars first get to the light? I want you to tell me, I'm Investigator Viverito, what time does the red car first get to the light?
One hour, 1 minute, and 36 seconds.
What time, and tell me what time the Audi gets to the light?
At the 45-second mark.
And what time does the Fusion get to the light?
52-second mark.
What time does oncoming traffic start?
1 hour, 2 minutes, and 11 seconds.
Are they still at the light?
They are.
What time does this car that's behind pull up?
1 hour, 2 minutes, and 24 seconds.
Do you see the white Audi pull off?
I do.
What time was that?
You may have to roll it back for
Okay,
a
if you
second.
could pull back for a second.
You may have to go back more because it's already pulled off.
You can go back to 102.11. We'll pause. Do you see the Audi pulling off?
Foot comes off the brake at about 1 minute and 1 hour, 2 minutes and 21 seconds, and they pull off at 1 hour, 2 minutes and 24 seconds, or 23 seconds.
And prior to the Audi pulling off, do you see the Fusion make any movement?
No,
Okay, let's go back. Can you go back to 102:15?
oh, the Fusion starts creeping up.
And what time is that?
It's around like the 17 or 18 second mark.
And is the white Audi going into oncoming traffic?
Yes, it darts into incoming traffic, oncoming traffic.
The lane that Mr. Drink's car in, is that the left turn lane?
It is.
The car that pulled up behind, does that car go left and turn left?
Yes,
And you said that you've been out to this area before.
I have.
Is the middle lane a turn lane?
No,
Is it only the left lane?
yes.
Now, if we can go back again to 102:15. Now, Investigator Viverito, I want you to focus on, remember the individual you saw walking in the video before?
Yes.
I want you to focus on that individual walking.
Okay.
And when if you can show the jury when you first see the person walking.
Right there. Or is it not on my screen? It is. Oh, there it is.
And you keep playing. Do you still see the person? Can you still see them walking?
It's muffled, but yeah, they're still continuing towards the intersection on foot.
And is Mr. Drink's car still sitting in the left lane?
It is.
Do you still see the individual walking?
You see, surfacing right here. It's very hard to see, but you see the movement right here.
And he's still walking towards the light?
Correct.
On Windsor Street, where the individual is walking, what is to the right of where he's walking?
I believe I remember correctly, some bushes or shrubbery, and there may be a wall of some sort. I can't 100%.
Now, we're going to have to go back again to about 1:02:11. Again, is that where all three cars, the Fusion, the Audi, and and Mr. Drink's car, all at the light?
Correct.
Now let's focus our attention on the car that pulls up. What time does the car pull up?
At about the 27 to 28 second mark at 1 hour, 2 minutes, 27 or 28 seconds.
And I actually want to pause. Mr. Abadi, are you able to zoom in to that portion now? And once you zoom in, if you go back to 1:02:11. If it's not working, we can just go back. Thank you. Is that just a zoomed in area of the location that we just been looking at?
It is.
All right. And now I'm going to focus on the white car that pulls up. Do you see the fusion pull for it first?
Correct.
Is that the Audi pulling off into traffic?
Correct.
Now, is the white car behind those cars?
It is.
And from here, can you tell if the car that pulls up is behind the car with Mr. Drinks?
You'll see like a gap here. It's like the tires are back towards the back of the car.
In the turning lane?
It's in the middle lane.
Okay. Keep going. And do you see the car flash on and off and the car still behind Mr. Drink's car?
Yes.
Right. And is that light red?
It is.
And does the light turn green when he goes to make the left turn?
It is.
Following road traffic
Correct.
or following the correct signals?
Correct.
And is the car still sitting there?
It is.
At any point in time in this video, do you see any muzzle flash?
No.
But was Mr. Drink still shot inside of that vehicle?
Yes.
Now, when the Audi that Mr. Stillwell is takes off, does he go left as well?
Yes.
Right. I want to go back to 397 VVD. And I want to go all the way up to the top initially,
Okay.
this exhibit. Now, do you see the top, the categories of the information that's contained within this exhibit?
I do.
Do you see column I?
Yes.
And what does column I say?
Speed.
All right. I want to go back to March 14th, 2022. And I want to scroll to when we last looked at this document at 9:59, was he at the location at 464 Windsor Street?
He was.
Okay. And at 10 o'clock, was this at 464 Windsor Street?
He was.
That's the same BP gas station.
Correct.
All right. At 10:01, was the income monitor at 405 Cooper Street Southwest?
It was.
Right. And do you see that column I where it says 17 and 18?
Correct.
All right. And that's the miles per hour, right?
Correct.
Okay. When we go to 10:02, PJV2 plus VR, is that at 18 seconds?
18 miles.
18 miles per hour?
Yes.
Excuse me. And I want you to remember this PJV2 location, all right?
Okay.
The next location, 500 Northside Drive Southwest. How many miles per hour?
90.
And what time is that?
10:03.
Is that 2 minutes after the car is at the, or the ankle monitor at the PJV2 location?
A minute.
Excuse me,
after.
a minute after the PJV2 location,
Yes.
right? I want to show you 397 VVF.
Yeah. All right, guys, they're having a bench conference right now, and I wanted to come to you guys. Hey. All right. Guys, you want to know what's going on in the courtroom? Ask me a question, I'll answer it for you guys. They're still talking at the bench. You're welcome. Welcome, everybody. Oh, the juries, I was looking at their faces. Well, we'll talk about it tonight. We'll talk about it tonight.
All right, put a 1 in the chat if you hear me. Put a 1 in the chat,
What's
ladies and
going on in
gentlemen.
the
Put a 1 in the chat.
courtroom? Not much. How's the jury looking?
I see you, D. I see you.
We'll talk about it tonight. I did take notes, y'all. I took my little notes. I got my little notes here. I did take notes. I took notes. Can you see in the courtroom? Not from right here. I've been going in and out of the courtroom so I could tell you guys what's going on. I've been going in and out. Oh, I gotta tell y'all what happened to me. Gotta tell y'all what happened to me. Tonight at about 7:30, I gotta tell y'all what happened. And this confirms that they are looking in the channel. I was chastised today. Yep, he knows it went out, and I'll tell you guys. And it's so weird how it went out too. It is so weird. Oh. Yeah, he knows. He knows. Oh, it was real bad, y'all. They were trying to figure out why am I still. They feel bad. I will talk about everything that happened here tonight. I will talk about it tonight. I don't want to waste time talking about it. I don't know who did it though. I don't know who did it. But because my equipment is plugged in back here. My equipment is plugged in back here. So I didn't have I'm with the direct feed. Julie's about to leave. Julie's about to leave and we're gonna talk about it in corporate. Here we go. Mods, please stop deleting stuff that's not bad, y'all, because you guys being mean to the people. Y'all hurting my channel. Mods, y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better. Y'all can't keep deleting stuff that's not needed to be deleted. Don't delete it. Jason's comment was not bad, y'all.
Mr. Shart's going to tell you why he objected. I had already asked the witness the question about the 90 miles per hour. So that question was done. My next question, I asked her to read the location of PJV2. That's it, what was on the spreadsheet. Then that is when Mr. Shardt objected. So that is the objection that's on the floor. At this point, I've asked her to read PJV2.
Well, she is reading off of an ankle monitor report from the ankle monitor company. To the extent that she reads off of it, that's not really my issue. It's when she starts to interpret the data. She doesn't work for that company. I don't know, for instance, the PGV2, whatever, PJV2, I don't expect to hear her testify or what that means, because she's not the ankle monitor person. The ankle monitor person would have been the person to ask about those things. So I don't get.
What is VJV2?
So the next thing that I was going to show her, which was already admitted, is the picture of PJV2, which is a location that's already in evidence.
But how does she? Okay, so
What you were going to ask her to do.
Yes. So this is the spreadsheet, Your Honor.
Okay.
On here, which I had her read earlier on the spreadsheet, the column has the name, column D has the date and time, column E and F is longitude and latitude, and column G is a location. So before the objection, I believe she was reading or she had read at March 14th, 2022 at 10:02 p.m. The location PJV2 plus VR, Atlanta, Georgia. That is what my question entailed. And that was the
Okay, and
objection.
she read that?
She
Or
read,
is, okay, she read PJV2 plus VR, Atlanta, Georgia?
I believe that. if
Or
the
is that
object-
when the objection came?
that might have been when the objection came.
Okay, and then what?
And I was just going to have her read the date and time of that location. Then I was going to show her what has been admitted already as PJV, excuse me, already admitted as 397 VVF.
That plots that location
Correct.
That's,
by the ankle monitor company? Or
No,
by
they-
whom?
We
They
showed
had-
the ankle monitor company that picture as it correlated to this location here. So we printed out Google images of these locations, PJV2, 464 Windsor, which is what I just showed her previously.
By the latitude and longitude?
Yes.
Somebody plotted latitude and longitude
I don't,
on a map
No, we
to get
pulled
that
up-
location?
No. We pulled up the map. We went into Google and we put PJV2 plus VR. We just Googled it. And we pulled up the location.
so essentially they want someone who doesn't work for the ankle monitor. And mind you, the ankle monitor company person is already here. They want someone who doesn't work for the ankle monitor company to take something that's on the ankle monitor company's Excel sheet and then compare it to a Google printout that the prosecutors
You're right.
printed out, and
That is already in evidence?
That's
You're right.
already in
It's in evidence. It's not, we're not admitting it through her. It's in evidence. The ankle monitor witness introduced it. He
Okay.
introduced it along with the record
Mm-hmm.
of the pictures. And so
Okay.
at this point, when Mr. Shardt has
Okay, and
challenged,
then what? So you'll then say, and here's this other piece of evidence that is a plot of PJV2 plus VR.
is that the location at the light that for the surveillance video that we just observed? Because all of
Okay.
this is in this is all in response to Mr. Shardt's cross-examination about what occurred at the light.
Can you put that back up again, please? The thing that was just up. And from this, you are going to have her extrapolate that because at 10:02, his ankle monitor showed him at that location, then what? Because you came up here and were saying this is going to be able to show that the timeline is accurate across all the different devices. How is it going to do
So
that?
the challenge that Mr. Shardt made is that the 9:59 phone calls, this started with the phone call at 9:59, which is the wiretap phone call. Mr. Shardt asked Investigator Viverito, are you able to know if that is the accurate time?
Uh-huh.
Because of that line of cross-examination, we are now showing Investigator Viverito other admitted evidence that shows a correlation to that 9:59 time. So when you look at this chart, before we get to the 10:02, which is at PJV2, at 9:59, the
Please
ankle.
put that exhibit back up.
the spreadsheet.
Or hand it to me. I'm happy to have a paper copy of it. So now we're talking about 9:59 and not 10:02.
Your Honor, we're showing Mr. Shardt started off at 9:59. Then, if you can recall, he went through the entirety of the surveillance video at the FedEx.
Uh-huh.
So that's after 9:59. So what we are showing is other evidence that
He does not dispute that he was at the light
he disputes
at the same time as Mr. Drinks was.
Your Honor, he disputes that Mr. Stillwell is the person who was shooting. He disputes that the call at 9:59 was a call to get on FaceTime to shoot Mr. Drinks. We are saying that that call, that FaceTime call, is a call that where they said we are getting ready to go shoot the ops. That's why they get on FaceTime. So he is challenging all of that, Your Honor. So what
Uh-huh.
we are showing is at 9:59, if you look here on the ankle monitor, he's at 464 Windsor Street. That is the BP gas station. He then a minute later.
9:59 is accurate.
Here's,
And lined up to, I mean, I don't see how you can establish that 9:59, according to the ankle monitor company, is, spot on to the second. 9:59, according to the wiretap.
But we're saying that it's accurate time, Your Honor, because
No,
he wants,
there's
he's
no-
at 464 Windsor, which is where, if you look at the BP gas station video footage, that is when all the cars begin to pull off from the surveillance. That is when all the cars begin to pull off from the surveillance video at the BP gas.
But there is no cross-reference to the wiretap, which is the point.
But-
That's
but
my
the-
only point,
but
is
that's-
9:59 on the wiretap. We don't know when it is on the rest of these devices, and this information does not give us, or other surveillance systems.
Agreed.
And
Do
this-
you have him on the video at the BP station talking on the phone and going like this?
We have the wiretap that has him, we believe, the phone plot.
I know you believe it. Do you have evidence to establish it?
Our evidence is
that-
circumstantial evidence that he is at the gas station. Do we have direct evidence? No, Your
No,
Honor.
do you have evidence that the 9:59 that you want is the same 9:59 on all of the different things that recorded time in video?
That is to show circumstantially that all these times are.
How
together.
are you showing circumstantially that it lines up?
Your Honor, because when we look at the ankle monitor information, he is at the 464 Windsor at 9:59. The call comes in at 9:59. The BP gas station surveillance video has 9:59. So we are showing that all of these things coexist. So the time could not just be off, because all of the time are at approximately 9.
That's if he got the call when he was still at the gas station.
Your Honor,
The fact that they all at some point say 9:59 doesn't establish anything if you don't have a video that shows him talking on the phone at 9:59, so that you can go, aha, see, the video lines up with the ankle monitor that says 464 Windsor Street. Otherwise, it's just what you want it to say, but it doesn't actually, even circumstantially, establish that. You can argue it, but you can't have a witness say, yep, this says 9:59, so that means
but we
That's
didn't
when that-
ask her to say that, Your Honor. We never asked Investigator
But-
Viverito to
but-
say that. We asked
I
her
know,
what
but
time
you
is she.
were telling me that's what you were
No,
leading up to having her say.
No, it's not, Your Honor. What I said I would never have her say, is he exactly on the phone at that time? Because he's in a tinted car, so we don't know. What we know is from the wiretap that at 9:59, there's a phone call. That's what we know. So I
That at
can never-
9:59, according to however the wiretap clock was running.
Correct. Your Honor.
Yes,
So
that's
in
what
nobody
order-
come out.
disputes that.
Your Honor, we've stopped talking about
Ms. Hilton, you
9:59.
came up here and said, I'm asking these questions so that I can establish that the timeline lines up for everything.
Yes, Your Honor, the timeline lines up. So at
Okay.
this point, I can show that all of these different devices are around approximately the same time.
I don't think anybody disputes even that it's
But-
approximately the same time.
Mr. Shardt does. Okay.
You can have her, it's in evidence. You can have her read something, but you cannot have her say, yeah, that means all of these times lined up.
I
Or that
never was
means
gonna have-
9:59 here and 9:59 on the wiretap were the same thing.
We never had her. We were finished with the 9:59, Your Honor. The only thing I had just asked her was about PJV2 when he objected. Well, we were finished with 9:59 about 5 questions ago. So the only thing that Mr. Shardt objected to at this time was that she was reading PJV2.
No,
That's
that
what the
she was
objection-
about to interpret.
She was not, and that's the thing. That
Okay,
was-
well, great. She's not going to.
Okay,
but-
well,
and she, that wasn't the state's intention.
I
Okay,
don't
then
know
I have
where-
no idea why you think any of this is going to establish that all of the times lined up, but.
I'm going to object on relevance grounds at this point, because I don't know where we're going, but it seems that they were trying to establish something. They said they're done establishing that, and Investigator Viverito is still interpreting ankle monitor data. So I'm going to object to relevance in 403.
Your Honor, as I stated earlier, Mr. Shardt has challenged what occurred at the light.
I know.
So at this point, we're just showing, based on admitted evidence, what occurred at the light, Your Honor. That's all.
Can I ask a question? Why is it improper or not relevant? So if there has been questions and testimony about whether the times for everything sync up, I think has been Mr. Sharp's. Well, in the screenshot that was admitted to Detective Hogan and
Okay, wasn't relevant. What we discussed up here at the bench was that it's not within the scope of redirect, which is when Ms. Hilton said, oh, yes, it is, because I'm going to be establishing that all of the times line up.
But on cross, he disputed that the 959 from wiretap was anywhere close or could be related to the 959 anywhere else.
Was established as being the same 959, and I have heard nothing that, maybe you could tell me how you can establish that.
So at 9:59, when he makes the FaceTime or the call, he is at 464 Windsor Street. Okay, so then you go to your next step.
No, how do we know that he's at 464 Windsor Street?
Says it.
Because some other item of evidence says it, and we don't know that they're all running on the same clock.
That's what we're trying to show you it is, because at 9:59, if everyone would just wait and we'll get to the big ta-da. So at 9:59 on the wiretap thing, it says 464 Windsor Street. On the ankle monitor, on a separate device, at 9:59, Mr. Jackson is at 464 Windsor Street. That correlates. They're the exact same place at the exact same time. At 10:02, it shows that he's at PJVR2, whatever. That's the intersection of I-20 and the light. And then at 10:02 on the FedEx thing, and it says 10:02:17. So it's the exact same thing. It's to show that all the times line up. All this questioning that the times are not accurate, that the times don't sync up. We're proving that they actually do sync up, which is what he challenged Investigator Viverito about this 9:59, and she's just making it up, and all the evidence is being presented as how she wants it to. And now we have physical evidence from different videos that show they actually all do sync up, that they're all running on the same, time width or band, whatever.
I think you can argue that. I don't think that is established. But if you want to have her say, but Ms. Hilton says she'll already left 9:59 anyway. So I'm still at a loss as to where we are. But we'll just get her back in and.
I have a motion before the jury comes out, you wait for back in, because unfortunately it's my job to further tax the patients in court.
What's that?
Yeah, I have a motion to strike the testimony of Investigator Viverito as well as any evidence that came under her. And the reason I make this motion, Your Honor, is yesterday it came up that she had not been, that she had been following the case. The court asked me to not pursue that. I'm not.
Come up that she had been following the case. It came up that she knew that somebody had mentioned her on Twitter.
Okay, and your opinion would have been different if she was following the case? Because
No, if you know that she was following the case, that doesn't exclude her as a witness. You can let the jury know that.
Okay, because
You can ask her that.
I can ask her about her following the case?
Sure, and we'll see what she says.
Okay,
And if that's so, then it still doesn't exclude her testimony. It just lets the jury know, well, she may know some of this other stuff from listening to some other witness.
okay, because what I would like to get into, and we may as well bring it up now before the jury is here, is that she got into an altercation out in the hallway with Kayla Bumpus.
Why is that relevant to the guilt or innocence? of
I'm
these
about
men?
to go there, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just let me finish a second. She got into it because she was watching Kayla Bumpus's YouTube feed about this case. And Kayla Bumpus apparently called her.
Okay, you may get into whether she has been tracking this case.
Mhm.
You may not get into whether she got into a dispute with somebody
gets into
about their posts.
It gets into her bias against these defendants, Your Honor. It goes directly to it.
What are you proposing to ask?
I'm proposing to ask if she told Kayla Bumpus in the hallway that was the last time she was going to call her a hoe. It goes direct.
I'm sorry, the last
Wow.
time who was going
That
to call?
Kayla, sorry for the pronouns, that Kayla Bumpus was going to
Wow.
call Investigator Viverito
We need to
a
get
hoe.
into who it was, or just that somebody.
No, to put it out there.
I think we need to
Wow.
get into who it
Why?
was.
Why?
Because she's married to Mr. Jackson.
Well,
Wow, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
is this for real, y'all?
Confirmed. Ah!
Yeah. Well, it does.
Nothing is relevant. Whatever is happening between Bumpus, Mr. Jackson, has nothing to do with the guilt or innocence.
If she is-
Unfortunately, the bias of a witness. Well, fortunately, I strike that. It is not fortunate or unfortunate, except for the fact that it is dragging this case on even longer. But a witness's bias towards a party may always be shown.
If she is in a dispute, if she is
Don't
in,
talk at the same time.
Caleb Bumpus is not a party to this incident. Caleb.
Yes, but if she's married to one of the parties, then that might qualify.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I'm not the proponent of this evidence. I'm hearing Mr. Weinstein out, but my silence should not be viewed as acquiescence that I believe this should be admitted. I need to hear what Mr. Weinstein's saying because
Wow.
I may have an objection myself.
what I'm saying is that if there is a relationship between Miss Bumpus and the defendant, then Investigator Viverito's bias against that.
Against
someone-
being called a bad name?
No,
No.
if she is in an altercation with someone that's in a relationship with the defendant, I think, and especially if it is a threat, because
How is that a threat?
I
that's
told
the
you
last
guys.
time you're going to call me a hoe. I mean, I've had clients arrested for less.
I told you guys. You don't listen
may
to the
have.
uncle.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, I'm not finished with my sentence. You may ask if she is following the case and has been following the case in any kind of manner. But it's really only relevant if she listened to the testimony of a witness. So you could ask that. But if she's just looking at, and I don't even know if she was looking at, maybe somebody told her.
Oh, God.
So why don't we get her in here and find all of that out outside the presence of the jury before we go into something that ends up being a bunch of nothing?
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up when the jury wasn't here, Your Honor.
Oh, my goodness. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think saying who this is before we find out anything. I mean, do we know?
Oh, we know already,
We don't
Judge.
even know whether she's actually married to him.
Oh, we know.
Or if she was married to him at the time, or if Ms.
Judge, she's married,
Viverito
Judge.
knows that.
She knows,
Or
Judge.
if it was because of any kind of bias against Mr.
Judge,
Stillwell.
Judge.
Or just that she doesn't like being called that name.
Well,
Judge,
no one
Judge.
would, Your Honor, obviously. But if
Judge.
she is in an altercation with someone in a
What do you
relationship,
mean by altercation?
a verbal altercation,
Okay. I mean,
you know,
a
if there's-
verbal, that's the
if there- I
last
don't-
time you're going to call me that?
excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's the last time you're going to call me that? That sounds like an altercation. Is that,
Okay.
is that all you've got?
That's all I have.
Okay, that's it. I think that this is
We need a break.
403 material.
Hoisted on my own petard, Your Honor.
Correct. All right, let's get the witness back in and the jury back in.
Ah, ah. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Uncle told you. Y'all thought I was lying, ladies and gentlemen. I told you. Kayla does it again. Oh my God. Ah, ah. Oh, good. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, boom, boom. Don't try. Kayla said, you ain't putting my man in no jail. You're lying. You're lying on my man. My husband. Look at Max. Look at Max. Oh my gosh. Oh, good. I can't. Uh, uh. Oh my goodness. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is I told you so. All I can say is I told you so. Uh, uh. They got it bumping. They got it bumping. Your Max face. Listen. You guys can't. We can't make this up. Judge, you knew last week, Judge. Oh my God. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, I got to go off camera for a second. I have to. I'm crying over here. I got to go off camera.
Go ahead, Ms. Holden.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to publish now 397 VVF. And looking at 397 VVF, do you see that same PJV2 plus VR location that you saw on the spreadsheet?
I do.
Okay. And are you able to tell where that intersection is?
I am.
Where is that?
At Windsor, looks like just north of Rawson or at Rawson.
Now, on cross, do you recall when Mr. Shardt asked you about the handgun that was on the table at 2830 Waters Road?
I do.
And he asked you about three types of guns: Springfield, Sig Sauer, and Smith and Wessons.
Yes.
Right. First, let me ask you: do you know if a Springfield makes a 40 caliber weapon?
They do.
Do you know if a Sig Sauer makes a 40 caliber weapon?
They do.
And do you know if a Smith and Wesson makes a 40 caliber weapon?
They do.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State Exhibit 531 VV, 532 VV, and 533 VV for demonstrative purposes only. Tell me if you recognize those types of weapons of 531, 532, and 533 VV.
One is a Springfield XD firearm. One's a Sig Sauer P229, and one's a Smith and Wesson.
And looking at those three weapons, are they able to illustrate what you were talking about, the distinction between the Glock 27 as well as these other types of weapons?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 531 VV, 532 VV, and 533 VV for demonstrative purposes.
Admitted.
Permission to publish?
You may.
Looking at 531 VV, are you able to tell the jury about the distinction you were making between the grip of, say, a Springfield versus the Glock that you were talking about on the table at 2830 Waters Road?
Yes. We along the bottom part of the grip.
Say it one more time.
Along the bottom part of the grip. Say right. You might have to scroll it up for the jury.
Or can you use the one at the...
Or I'm sorry, right here. This is straight across, like with a little bit of a piece that comes down towards the back.
And is that distinguishable from what you were describing with the Glock?
Yes.
All right. Now looking at 532 VV.
Again, the same thing. You'll see there's something that comes down in the back, but otherwise it's higher up towards the front.
And you had to speak into the mic for me because I can't hear you.
Sorry, it's lower towards the back, higher up towards the front. So it kind of a part that dips down in the back and then comes up.
And for 533, sorry, what kind of gun is this 532 VV?
I believe that's the Springfield XD.
Or 532?
I'm sorry, which one? 532? It's a 6-hour P229.
Okay. And then 533 VV.
You'll see again here, there's a piece in the back, but then once you get to the front, it's just straight across.
And then what type of weapon is 533 VV?
That would be the Smith & Wesson. I'm sorry, the 530. Yeah, the Smith & Wesson.
Now I want to go to, and Mr. Kokomo, if you can help me out, please. DS57A, DS57C, and DS58A. And while that's being pulled up, Mr. Shardt, they asked you whether or not there were people, I guess, not to say looking for Mr. Stillwell, but that there'd be some concerns for his safety because of the Tierra Jones killing. Do you remember a line of questioning regarding Tierra Jones?
Yes, several years ago, that was an incident.
When was the Tierra Jones killing?
It was several years ago. I can't remember the exact date.
Do you remember the year?
Not offhand. Okay.
Now looking at, I believe this is DS57A. Is this the communication between Mr. Stillwell and Miss Alexander regarding the shooting at McDaniel?
It is.
At I-20 and McDaniel.
It is.
Do you see any response from Mr. Stillwell in the text message that's, dang, babe, I was just at that intersection. Or man, glad it wasn't me. I just missed being at that location.
I do not.
Do you see any text messages to Miss Alexander that says, man, I was just at that BP gas station a little while ago. That's up the street from there.
I don't.
I want to go to DS58. And is that the communication between Mr. Stillwell and his grandma?
It is.
All right. Do you see where she says, hope you are not near Windsor Street shooting on the news? And says, answer me, please.
Yes.
Does he say anything to his grandma? I'm like, no, what, grandma? I was over there earlier, but it's not me.
He does not.
Now, we talked about searching for on Fox 5. Do you remember talking about the searches on Fox 5?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see any searches on March 14th when both his grandmother and Taisha were asking him about whether or not he was around that location or if he heard about it? Did you see any searches for the shooting on that day, on March 14th or in the early morning hours of March 15th?
No.
Are all of the searches on March 17th?
They are.
And is that the day he was ultimately arrested for these charges?
Yes.
Now I want to go to Stacy to the 437 VV, page 2145. April 1st, 2022, from 11 p.m., 11 minutes to 11:20 seconds into that call.
What time's again? I'm sorry.
11 to 11:20. You can pause it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just assume. Hey,
Yeah, I already know. Like when they got down, go to wiping down, doing them got down, them. You know how they gunpowder forensics, all that shit there.
yeah.
You gonna come back clean. You see what I'm saying? So I ain't tripping on that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
During that call, he says when they talk about that GSR stuff, it's going, when they wipe it down, it's going to come back clean.
Correct.
At any point, he's saying, I don't know why I don't even know what any of this is about.
No.
Does he say to his best friend, I don't even know why they took this?
Proper commentary, also facts and evidence.
Sustained.
Does he say to Demekian Grant on this call, I don't even know why they took that car?
No.
Does he say to Demekian earlier in the call, that Miles and Quay, they don't need to worry?
Yes.
Miles and Quay, were they both in a Ford Fusion?
Yes.
Were they in the car that was furthest from Mr. Drinks?
Yes.
Did you hear when Mr. Stillwell told Mr. Garlington, I told them not to talk to the police, don't say nothing? Did you hear what he told Mr. Garlington that?
Yes.
And this entire call is on the contraband phone
Correct.
that can't be monitored,
Correct.
or outside of it being a wiretap, cannot be monitored.
Correct.
LPR readers, what information do you need about a car in order to look for a car on an LPR reader?
A license plate, a tag number.
Do you at least need to know the make and model of a car?
Overruled.
You can try by make and model, but it's not very accurate sometimes, especially at night.
With the two cars that we saw in the FedEx surveillance video, were you able to see any license plate information on either of those two cars in the FedEx video?
I was not.
And at that FedEx video, is that where we see the Audi and the Ford Fusion run the red light?
Yes.
Court's indulgence. No further questions.
All right, recross.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Investigator Viverito, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So you were just asked about LPR readers, and I think the context is figuring out the car that did the U-turn and the car that sped up behind Mr. Stillwell.
Okay.
And you said you need a license plate and that you can't see the license plate from that video.
Or if you have it, sometimes a make and model search might work, but at night, in my experience, it's not very accurate.
Well, are you aware that it was in fact a make and model search that night that revealed the license plate of the white Audi and the white Ford Fusion?
No.
Okay. That Detective Ender, I believe her name is, did? Okay. So the bottom line is LPR search by make and model, it's never going to work if you don't try, is it?
No, but if you're saying she did it for those two, it probably should have captured whatever other car.
Okay, I agree. All
Yeah,
right,
but
so what's the license plate of the car that sped up behind Mr. Stillwell?
Well, I was going to continue. Like over the summer, I've been working in investigation quite extensively, looking for a very particular two cars in the city. I probably have searched every LPR in the city by make and model. And at night, you may put white Nissan, you may put white this, white that, and I'm getting back white Tesla. When I look at the license plate and pull up the results, they're not correct.
Okay, and I appreciate that anecdotal story about what you've been doing this summer, but the fact is that night, make and model was used to reveal the license plate of the Ford Fusion and the white Audi.
Right,
And it was nighttime on March 14th, correct?
Right, but depending on what LPRs those cars had hit, that location on Windsor right there, I don't know if there's one right there that would have caught it clear enough.
Okay, well, what LPRs did the car that sped up behind Mr. Stillwell that has not been tested for gunshot residue, what LPRs did that hit?
You'd have to ask Detective Hogan.
Okay, you keep saying ask Detective Hogan. One minute you're on the side of Windsor Street trying to find homeless people as part of this case.
Correct.
And the next minute you don't know anything about the case and it's ask Detective Hogan.
That's not what I said.
Okay, well, I want to know, do you know if any LPRs were run on the make and model of any cars besides the white Audi, the Ford Fusion, and a red Versa? Do you know if any other LPRs were run or even attempted to be run?
First, I wasn't in charge of running the LPRs for the case.
Okay.
And if they were running it by make and model, that maybe if you have a make and model, it's much easier than just say not having one that you're looking for.
Okay. You talked about the phone conversation between Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Garlington about he never told Mr. Garlington, I don't know why I'm being arrested or something to that effect, or I don't
Correct.
understand. Okay, when people are arrested, you've arrested people before, right?
Correct?
Okay, and you typically tell them what the charges are. You give them that courtesy.
Yes, of course.
And you tell them what you're arresting them for.
Of course.
Okay, they don't have to agree with you, but you do inform them of it.
Correct.
Okay, so are you saying that Mr. Garlington is the first person that Mr. Stillwell would have talked to after being arrested on that jail call or that phone conversation? Is that what you're saying?
No, he'd been in custody for a minute at that
Okay,
point.
and you would agree that there's probably been significant ability for the people that arrested him, other people involved with the case to inform him what his charges are and generally what he's accused of.
I don't think that's what Ms. Hilton meant. That's not how I took the question for me.
Okay, cool. We pulled out this mapping information for the call on March 15th at 2 a.m.
Correct.
And it showed that, remember that radius? And it was
Correct.
Mechanicsville.
Correct.
Mechanicsville is in fact in the city of Atlanta, correct?
Correct.
It's in the city.
Correct.
And finally, just one other thing I wanted to ask you about. This night, could you do me a huge favor? I think it's 471 BB. Could you publish? Did I get the number right? Oh. Okay. This is 471 VV, and that is a picture of Mr. Nichols, correct?
Correct.
And on it says, on the picture on the right says, "What you saying? I run with cold-blooded killers, bloodied killers."
Correct.
Okay. Now, I'm not an Instagram person.
Okay.
Those words, are those words that Mr. Nichols typed into this photo?
No, I stated that yesterday.
Okay, well, we're gonna go through the whole process.
Okay.
So these words are when you pick a song such as Young Boy Never Broke Again, Villain, and someone clicks on the post, the music plays, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and as the music plays, lyrics come up.
Correct. You select a portion of the song that you would like to play.
Well, that's not entirely true. Instagram suggests a portion.
It's like between a 10 and 30-second portion.
Yeah, and Instagram suggests.
You can agree with it or you can modify it.
Right, but Instagram suggests.
Correct.
Okay, so if I'm posting something and I want Young Boy Never Broke Again, Villain, I'm going to post, I'm going to say that's the song I want, and Instagram makes the suggestion.
Correct.
Okay, and now I want to go to the video. Miss Knight, can you help me out with the VVA? Thank you, Miss Knight. 471 VVA. And Miss Knight's about to publish it. What I would like to do, and I know we've seen it already, but if you would indulge me, tell me when the screenshot that you took and provided in Discovery for 471 VV, tell me when that comes up.
I've been here to it all. I won't fuck with you often. Baby, I ain't got no reason. I think I need you. Stay down. I done came back from the dance, wipe off the leaves. I don't want any of these lessons off the street. I fucked her the first night and then I never called again. Next time I saw to see me, I was around with a friend. I was gonna have my pay private, but you know what, man? I don't give a fuck. But y'all pussy. Don't even come from no fake pay. Come from your real pay. I don't get no fuck, man. Come on, man. It ain't private. It ain't private. I'm a bloody man, I don't feel shame for all them niggas dying. Holding on to my name when they claiming. Through the night I'm crying. These bitches lying, let's face the fact. Them bullets flying, let's talk about that. Grab my strap, bye-bye shot. I feel the pain of the end. When I did my time, I ain't feeling nothing, it was fun. And this is what they want me to do on Instead of Heights. I might die. Never get on another freaking roller coaster day in my life. Oh, you talking about? I don't want to talk. Won't speak on that, them too official. I heard your niggas let them choppers off. Strictly about beef. I go to war with any nigga. I heard them say that they won't smoke with us. Ain't got no better nigga, ain't gon' fuck with us. So what you saying is up. I step on any nigga. Name a block ain't hit, name a hoe ain't hit. Name a nigga don't try this shit to survive this shit. Every nigga don't try this shit, don't die this shit.
Can't tell you might have gone too fast. I'm not sure.
Okay. Could you go to 140 and just 138? Okay, right there. And just start playing again.
Won't talk, won't speak on that, them too official. I heard your niggas let them choppers off. Strictly about beef. I go to war with any nigga. I heard them say that they won't smoke with us. Ain't got no better nigga, ain't gon' fuck with us. So what you saying is?
So, Miss Knight, if you could just rewind it, and it's very brief, about 1 second. A little bit further. I appreciate it. Investigator Viverito, when you saw this story by Mr. Nichols, you had to scour this story to find the spot on this post where it had those lyrics, didn't you?
Well, no, I turned over in Discovery the video in its entirety because I felt all of it was pretty damaging and consistent with the case. But it's my understanding that we had to condense the social media, so that was the screenshot that was turned over in lieu of the video.
I'm going to ask that question again. To get that screenshot, you had to parse this to a millisecond to get those words up on the screen.
Or I just took a screenshot and it happened to be that one and we kept it.
Oh, it just happened to be that one.
There are other things that probably would have been better to keep.
Okay.
That weren't kept.
So, so you just happened to screenshot. Now, you would agree that in this video, there's Mr. Nichols and these lyrics are being shown on the screen as music is being played.
Yes.
And you would agree that many of the lyrics, as the song is being played, are up on the screen and easy to read.
Correct.
Okay. Right before the lyrics become easy to read, there is a split second, a millisecond, that has those lyrics in that picture. 471 VV, isn't that correct?
Correct.
You don't even know if those lyrics were the ones. First of all, you don't know if it was just suggested by Instagram or actually chosen by Mr. Nichols, right?
The song was chosen by Mr. Nichols.
Of course, the song.
Okay.
I'm talking about the lyrics. You don't know if it was Instagram choosing these lyrics because these are the most popular ones in the song, and they make a suggestion.
No, but based on the rest of the videos on the post, the theme is murder, bullets, guns, things like that. It fit.
So again, and you don't even know when it's on for that millisecond. Just supposing, hypothetically, if Mr. Nichols did choose the lyrics, you don't even know if that was Instagram just had the last lyrics up and then was getting to the lyrics he chose, which are shown clearly, or if it's something that Instagram just chose. You don't know.
I don't, but he can preview the post before it posts to his account.
Okay. So you have absolutely no evidence that Mr. Nichols intentionally chose those lyrics.
Which is why I included the video in its entirety with the other posts about murder and shooting.
And in preparation of this case, you scoured this video and paused it at that exact millisecond when it had those lyrics.
Did not. I took a screenshot.
Okay, took a screenshot. I'm sorry. At that exact millisecond where it had those lyrics that are in 471.
I probably took several trying to catch all the lyrics, and that was probably when we had to condense the evidence. That's one that was chosen.
How How many different screenshots did you take?
I have no idea.
Well,
We're
can
talking
you
about,
just tell me from your report?
I can't. You can look at my folder that was served to discovery and tell me.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Weinstein, anything? Okay.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Good afternoon, Investigator Viverito.
Good afternoon.
So you mentioned that Mr. Kendrick's phone was seized at the time that he was arrested on May 9th, 2022, correct?
It was.
And his phone was extracted.
It was.
Did you review that extraction?
I did.
And if you reviewed that extraction, did you see that he had been spending several months in LA and then only returned to Atlanta within a day or two of the day he was arrested?
I did.
Did you also see other location data within that phone?
Absolutely.
Okay. And in that location data, again, he'd been spending the bulk of his time in California, correct?
Correct.
All right. Did you look through all the photographs on that phone?
I looked through a good bit of them, yes.
The two photographs that were shown in court this afternoon, are those the only two photographs of interest that you believe were in the phone?
No, there was probably a few.
Okay. Did you find any evidence on that phone that Mr. Kendrick was in possession of any firearms?
No.
Okay. Let's briefly return to the Richard Mill watch.
Yes, sure.
I understand the eye roll. During the seizure that day, and I'm looking at a property report.
Sure.
During the seizure that day, you, and when I say you, I mean APD, can I say under your supervision? Is that accurate?
I didn't work for APD at that time, so I
Well,
couldn't.
Okay, then let's just say APD. Y'all see, APD seized, APD seized a necklace and a pendant from a bedroom, correct?
I guess I'd have to look at the report. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, well, you were involved in this. They seized a blue box of jewelry, correct?
Correct, in a red box.
And a red box of jewelry. They seized jewelry that was on Martinez Arnold.
I believe so.
They seized a Chevy Corvette,
Yes.
a Dodge Durango,
Yes.
a Mercedes-Benz AMG,
Yes.
a Mercedes-Benz GLS class,
Yes.
a Porsche 911,
Yes.
a Jeep Grand Cherokee,
Yes.
a pink Lamborghini,
Yes.
another Mercedes-Benz aluminum silver,
Yes.
about jewelry that was located in a Mercedes AMG.
Yes.
And they even seized a ring found on Jeffrey Williams' hand, correct?
I'd have to see which one was on his hand. I didn't have any contact with Mr. Williams when he was arrested.
Okay. So despite seizing all of that, you left behind the Richard Mill watch, pink with a white ceramic case.
Again, Mr. Weinstein, as it's being inventoried, the jewelry is being looked at. I use photographed. The jewelry is being put on this thing. If you watch the video, and it's placed on the shelf, and nobody messes with it again.
So was that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Detective. You are
Thank you, Your Honor.
excused. Do you have any more witnesses?
I know, but before we do, we just need to, can we have, I think about 5 minutes, Your Honor? I just want to confirm that we have in evidence.
To make sure that everything's in evidence? Sure. We'll take a short break.
All right, guys. It looks like we are at the end of the trial. Uh, Mr. Weinstein didn't take the opportunity to flush out his thought as relates to Attorney Caleb Bumpus Jackson. Hold on, guys. Stand by. All right, guys. Here's the part where the judge asks each defendant, do they want to testify? I don't think it's necessary for either one of them to testify at this point. But it's very interesting that all this jury was inventoried, but the watch, the $500,000 watch, wasn't inventoried. And the last person we saw with the watch is the last person on the witness stand. So knowing how, I'm just putting it out there. She is on social media all the time. She's looking at all kind of identifiers, tattoos, jewelry, clothing, but she seems to ignore the security and safekeeping of the Richard Mille watch. This is really interesting. This requires some real detective work. It requires a real investigator to do a deep dive. And I would say that everyone that went into that house should be investigated. $500,000 is no light work. That watch is going to eventually show up. And that watch is serialized. So it might get sold on the black market. It might have to get taken out of the country and then sold. But that watch is going to show up somewhere around the globe. And I'm glad that Attorney Weinstein brought that inventory list up. The voucher. Why would you not voucher the $500,000 watch? You got cars, you have jewelry, you even have some type of artwork, but you don't voucher the watch. It's put back on the shelf. Who does that? Who does that? So, for all those who doubted my exclusive, it played out in court today. It played out in court today. But shout out to Mel for posting it on social media. It was very, very good find. It was a good find. Keller said, today I'm standing by my man. I'm not letting this detective, investigator play with him. He's coming home. And my prediction is, ladies and gentlemen, that they are not found guilty. That's my prediction. I believe that they are going to be found not guilty of the serious charges. Because one would ask the question, it took you 7 years to make a case of murder, 7 years. What happened to the first 48? What happened to the first 72? But it took 7 years to try to make a murder case when there are other possible suspects. Then I don't think these jurors are going to put that case on them. I don't see it happening. So I don't know how much time the judge is going to give each side for closing arguments, but the verdict won't come back today. I think a verdict will come back tomorrow, probably before lunch. Assuming that, judge has to charge the jurors, give them the jury instructions, and then they go into deliberation tomorrow. So we'll have a verdict tomorrow. We'll have a verdict tomorrow. I am so looking forward to the conclusion of this case. Excuse me, guys. I'm so looking forward to the conclusion of this case. There's a lot going on with this case. So much to talk about in this case. And I have a special surprise for you guys tonight. But let's let this part come to its conclusion. Let this part come to conclusion. I think the judge will be back on the bench shortly. So stand by. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the road, so to speak. Jurors will be charged on Thursday, and they will get the case on Thursday. And deliberations can last Thursday and Friday. Okay. They're bringing the RICO expert in. Hey guys, are you there? Are you still with me? The sound is not on. The sound is on. All right, guys. Court is over for the day. Court will resume tomorrow at 9 o'clock so they can go over the juror instructions. The jury will be back on Thursday. But we have something special. We have something special tonight in the membership section. I'm sharing it tonight at 9 p.m. Make sure you are logged into the membership section. We are sharing it tonight at 9 p.m. Do not be late. We're only playing it one time. Until next time, we'll see you guys on our membership only at 9 p.m. tonight.